today's finally the day I'm gonna get the 12 volt system installed. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I can't wait to run a fridge. I can't wait to have some decent lighting for my camp setup. I also cannot wait to be able to run my compressor off this and have the compressor mounted in here ready to go. Open up the canopy, flip the switch, and we're on. I am sick of running my compressor off the battery, having to pop the bonnet, hook up alligator clips, that old story. I've been doing that. This is my fourth four-wheel drive now. I've been doing that across every four-wheel drive, so I'm sick of doing that. Anyway, let's not waste any time. Let's start this install. So I've decided to go with the iTech World gear, as you would have seen from the previous video where I ran through the actual battery box. So I'm going with a 100 amp hour lithium and a 1000 watt inverter. Now this is a setup I've always wanted to run. It's simple, it takes everything away from under the bonnet. I don't want to do anything under this bonnet really if I can help it. And I've wanted to try a battery box setup, for quite a while. And that battery box kind of has it all, and I'm able to charge off the alternator. I'm also able to use solar. I'm able to run a inverter off it. So it ticks all the boxes for me, and it's simple. And then you got, this is straight from the iTech World website, which is basically plug and play, straight off your main battery. This plugs into the battery box, and you've got your alternator charge. Now I'm just gonna say, I'm not a Sparky, I'm not an auto Sparky, I'm not a 12 volt guru. This is just, me having a crack in the shed DIY. I've got a fair idea, but yeah, I'm not a qualified Sparky. I'm not going to tell you guys how to do it. This isn't a how-to video. This is just me having a crack recording it. I'm sure someone out there is going to tell me I've done something wrong or whatever, but I just thought I better put that in there. I'm not telling you how to do this. This is just me having a crack. So what I'm actually going to do is take this Anderson connector off, and then it's much easier to get this split tubing on. I'm going to have to take this off anyway to get this and to get these cables through the canopy. So I just want to put a flat blade in here. It's kind of hard to show. Push down on the little tab there. We should be able to take this cable out just like that. Right, there we go. I'm just thinking while I'm at it, I wonder if I should put heat shrink on these. I feel like it'd be good if they came with heat shrink on them, and the heat shrink I've got is the proper good stuff with the glue inside. Here's my little trick, guys. Ring end spanner. Whoops. Not a very good trick, is it? Straight down like this. So as you can see, we've got the battery right here. I was just going to run this gear straight down here, down the firewall and under there along the chassis, but you got turbo this side, exhaust that runs along the chassis there. It's probably not ideal, so I reckon I'm going to run it from the battery along here, along the firewall and down that side. Much better way to do it. There's more room, there's less heat over that side. So I figured it out. Now look, as you know, these guards are a lot different. There is a lot of room going on in here. I've just had a look underneath on the driver's side here, and I was bringing it up the chassis through the engine bay, and then I thought, hang on, why don't I try and bring it up through here? And it turns out that's easily the way to go. There's so much access. I'll be able to come up right near the brake booster there and straight along the firewall, and then it's in its own cavity, protected. I think that's the best spot, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so we've made our way across to the passenger side, to the battery side. Just running along the firewall here. There's plenty of space and it's just a clear and easy route. I'm going to run it somewhere in here, underneath this accessories fuse box, and straight in behind this cavity as well. In along there, it's very neat. That's where my UHF cable is. Very neat. It's actually a good spot, this cavity, for the stuff like this. Just everything's out of the way, protected. Rightio, I've got this sitting happy. I've just got one zip tie. This is where I've just got one zip tie to hold it. I reckon this is where I want it. The cables are going to reach fine, not too loose, not too tight. I've run it under the cab to the back of the cab to the canopy. I thought this 6 meter length was going to be a bit long, but it looks like it's going to be just right, I hope. And then we got the ignition wire here, a female connection right here, male connection here. So we'll hook this up, run this back along here, along the firewall to an ignition source over this side. So we've got a power outlet box right here. I'm going to plumb into this for the ignition wire. I hadn't really had a look at this, but a fella left me a comment on one of my last videos and explained that this is what he did with his ignition wire. So I thought I'd have a look, and you've got a couple of different terminals in here, and one's marked ignition, so perfect. So I'm just running that big fat alternator charging cable along the sort of the top of the chassis, attaching it with these big fat boys. Right, so now we can drill our hole up here for this cable to come through. We're going to use this gland nut to make that happen. So I've just measured and center punched a hole. Right, so now we can put the step drill piece on and drill to the right size. As far as camp lighting or canopy lighting goes, I went and got a set of the hardcore LED light bars. I think they do a 2, 4 or 6 pack. I've got the 4 pack. Basically, most likely I'm going to chuck 2 lights on each canopy door, and I reckon that's going to sort it. Now it's all plug and play, couldn't be simpler. They're very, very neat. They've got a diffuser on them, which means, you know, it's not, lights aren't as piercing to look at. They diffuse the light, they spread the light a lot better. You've got a white option, a bit of a warmer white, and then a straight amber option for your bugs and nighttime stuff. Now what I'd like to do is actually stick the battery in here, hook it up, get this in the canopy, and basically turn this on and just see what happens. Make sure that this is hooked up correctly, as in, the reason for the ignition wire is to make sure that this charger only allows charge to this battery while the engine is on and running. Once it's off, I don't want any juice going to this battery. I want the start battery to be fully charged and remain safe. Let's turn this on. So it's telling us we are 13.3 volts, 93% charge. Rightio, so seems like this is sorted and it's charging when the engine's on. So I did a thing and hooked it up properly, that's good. So now we'll plug the lights in and we'll have a look. That side came on. Beautiful, look at that. Amber, warm white, and then really white. So I've gone and picked myself up a riv nut tool with riv nuts to fix the battery box, compressor and some other things down, like the inverter to the wall, because obviously you can't get a nut underneath the canopy. I did have the drawers over that side bolted down with the traditional nylock and bolt. Lifted the canopy up, had to fit the nuts underneath the canopy, such a pain. So these riv nuts are going to make life a lot easier. I'm going to put M8 size riv nuts in.
talking about. Best free. My style is the best. When we smoked out, take me out with the fader as I come back.
Right, well, I'm actually really happy with that rubber in there. I think it's going to be handy to have. Anything that you might be charging a drone here or your phone or whatever it might be, it's just a nice thing for them to sit on, I think. So basically what I'm going to do with this compressor is chop the cable, put another fuse in the line, put an Anderson connector in, and it's going to come around and get power out of these Anderson input and outputs over this side. I was going to mount the compressor up here just because, you know, with these canopies you got so much space and it'd be nice to make use of the space in a wise way. But I kind of decided against it. Like, I was going to build a bit of a frame for it, but it is pretty heavy, which it could be done, but I sort of just, you know, the inverter's going to be up here somewhere, power tool, battery charger up here somewhere, and I thought I'll leave that space for them. And down here might not be such a bad idea. I can easily get to the air line. I can turn it on and off. It just seems like a good spot. I'll have the air line coiled up and it'll permanently live up here as well. So I feel like this is going to work really well. Now I'll give these to chop. So chop them on a bit of an angle. It's just little things like that help when you're taking the strap on and off if you ever need to. It's just easy to poke that through. Melt them a little bit with my jet lighter just so they don't fray.
My style is the best. When we smoked out, take me out with the fader as I come back. Real old school.
There you go. Now look, once again, I've never really mucked around with stuff like this. My knowledge is very limited, so I'm sure there's things, you know, I'm probably not quite doing in the right steps or procedure. Maybe the crimps could be done different. I'm not really sure. Obviously I've done a bit of research and over the years learnt this and learnt that, and I've mucked around a little bit, but nothing too crazy. But anyway, that's all in and on, and so I guess the scary part is plugging it in and turning it on to see if it works. Hopefully it doesn't blow up or start a fire. Now, I know these type of blade fuses, a lot of people don't like them for high amps, but this compressor came with one of these. I'm just replacing what was already there. I never had a drama with it. The only time I had a drama was, well, not really a drama, but I did blow the fuse trying to pump up a big grader tire, which was probably a bit silly. It was obviously just way too much work for the compressor, trying to pump up a big tire like that. So the fuse did give out, but the holder was okay. I replaced the fuse and it kept chugging along. I've had this thing for maybe 5 years now, bouncing around in the back of the ute, used it a fair bit, like a lot, and I mean, it's still going strong. I was gonna buy a new compressor, going to the effort of doing this. I thought, why do this to the old compressor, just get a new one, but it is what it is, it's what I've got, and I don't wanna go spend money on a new one. It still works, so why not use it? And if it happens to blow up in a month, well, I'll just have to get a new one and I'll just do the same thing. Let's test this out. Let's think about this. Can't put these. Okay, well, it works. Now, I've only temporarily mounted the lights while I was waiting for these clip mounts to rock up from Hardcore.
It's the Renaissance microphone power.
Beautiful.
So these little clip mounts just clip straight into this channel that runs along the back of the light here, simple as. Don't you just hate it or love it when you snap your drill bit? Bloody hell. Got the lights in, we can go and run all the cabling for the lights. Couldn't really be any easier, it's all sort of plug and play. I've got a dimmer for each side. I wasn't going to do that, I was just going to have it so I run all 4 lights just this side, like the camp side, the camp kitchen side. But I think it'll be good because when I am set up at camp, a lot of the time I won't need that side on. So to have them independent is going to be pretty handy, I reckon, and probably the way to go. Now look, I really did want to mount these inside, but there's not enough length here, and they do give you some extension cables I could put in between, but it's just going to make it too long and make the cable too long, and I don't really want to cut and join cable and stuff. So I might just maybe put it here, which is actually perfect. And I mean, why not? Does it have to go in there? I don't think so. And maybe this is like a more logical choice. It's right near the lights, it's on the door, it's not going to get in the way of anything in here. It's probably pretty perfect, and at least it's probably a good spot so to be able to see as well. So I got a piece of 3mm alley cut to size for the front of the canopy. I then started measuring and marking to trim and cut where I needed to. Now the part I'm marking out here is where I'm going to have to notch out to get the sheet to clear the bottom gas strut mounts. I then marked the middle of the sheet and measured out from there to figure out where I needed to cut to match the shape of the canopy. These multi-material blades work well from Supercheap. They enable me to cut aluminium. I then began marking out and drilling all holes for the riv nuts and also the main power cabling that comes through from the main battery. I also added insulation to the front of the canopy, just like the rest of the canopy, before adding this front sheet. And I gotta say, these riv nuts are my new favourite thing. So I decided to make up a little ground cable just to run from the inverter to the chassis.